These blues in my pocket, I look like a crip. Shit was crazy, growing up like 80, came up off a zip, gon' go out blazing. Nigga try to play me, I'm coming off the hip.
This is Black's Law Dictionary, second pocket edition. Let them explain it to you better than I can. The definition.
Okay. Now, right now, you're finna break down what is the straw man.
All right, straw man. A fictitious person, especially one that is weak or flawed. A tenuous and exaggerated counter argument that an advocate puts forward for the sole purpose of disproving it. A tenuous and exaggerated counter argument that an advocate puts forward for the sole purpose of disproving it. Okay. Third definition, a third party used in some transactions as a temporary transferee to allow the principal parties to accomplish something that is otherwise impermissible. A person hired to post a worthless bail bond for the release of an accused. Okay, all right. Definition number 3. A third party used in some transactions as a temporary transferee to allow the principal parties to accomplish something that is otherwise impermissible. Okay, so watch this here. So a third party, so you got 3 people. Okay, you got John. Okay, John works for the county's attorney's office. Okay, you got Joe. Joe is just a homeless man. Okay, and then you got this straw man, this third party that is used in some transactions as a temporary transferee. Okay, so this man that's homeless, they're gonna use this third party, the transferee, which is the straw man, this all-letter name, this all-capital letter name, to be able to give him a ticket or to fill out a police criminal affidavit report to book him. Okay. Now, if they don't use the straw man in between this police department and this homeless guy, if they don't use this guy's name, if they don't use the straw man, it's all capital letters, then they can't reach him because the government fixins can't reach parity with living beings. In other words, they can't come up, the government or any type of whatever, they cannot reach parity with human beings. In other words, they have to reach parity with you through another fiction, through a corporation. In other words, when you own a business, you got to go down there and make a business name, and this is what you do business through, okay? And this is the third-party transferee, this business license that makes it possible for 2 other parties to do some business through or to reach some agreements. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, I understand what you're saying. Now, run that back again one more time so the people get a clear understanding of what you just said, but run it back again. The government basically cannot do business with a human being. They have to do business with another corporation.
That's right.
You see, because the humans are the people of the land. They don't have no jurisdiction over them.
Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It's
right. And these rules, these rules are ancient rules. These rules are old. What it was the British Empire rules.
Right. Magna Carta, all that stuff.
This is where this come from. This come from the British Empire, and then the British Empire get it from the Romans, who taught them. So in today's time, we still under ancient Roman rule because they're using the same court tactics that they never changed up. These laws are ancient laws that they just had on the books that they've been knowing for years. That's how they go into other countries and subjugate people because they make you sign a contract. Once you sign that contract, you enter into agreement with them, and now they have authority over your land. That's how they took the land from the natives in America.
It's the same thing right now. They would just be signing and stuff. Don't be reading it. We don't understand what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're held out because.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. So Puff Daddy's situation right now, they got him charged with human trafficking, prostitution, and something else. No. So how did they come up with these charges? Then how did he inflict himself to be in federal court right now? How could he have prevented that?
Well, first thing first is they didn't charge him with anything. It would sound crazy, but they didn't charge him with anything. That ain't his name on the charging document. That's a straw man name on the charging document. You know, he could just stop answering for him when they call his name. Stop answering to it. Why would you be answering to something that you're not? You gonna be that nice? You gonna keep answering to these people and then you ain't the person just to like kind of like help them so you'll kind of like be nice and don't look like that you not going along with the system. You got to stand up. I mean, that's not me. Show me how that's me. So any government stylist manual in this country, it'll say the same thing with an all capital letter name is. It's what it is. Your license, everything is always like that for a reason because that is the way it is.
Right.
Don't try to make up an excuse for it. You see what the definition in the law dictionary just says. That's just one of them. You know, the other one is similar. That is dummy. D-U-M-M-Y. Dummy corporation.
But most people don't understand. Go ahead and say it again. The dummy corporation.
A disinterested party who participates in a transaction to make otherwise what's illegal for the other two parties. I mean, that's the dummy. It's the same thing.
Right.
One of the dresses like that, one of the jail clothes was like scarecrow clothes.
Now these laws that they kind of use tactics that they kind of got embedded into our DNA. They use scare tactics and intimidation to make you agree to do business with them.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, I know it. We hold ourselves out to be professionals in the commercial world because we deal with negotiable instruments every day with all types of papers. We always signing something when we check out a loan from a bank, or we get a car or whatever, a signature loan, or just writing a check for something and paying our bills, or just even using FRNs, but using negotiable paper is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is because we've been using negotiable papers all our lives, we're being held out to be experts in the commercial realm. Okay, now all this paper that they keep handing us, we need to understand the principles about signing and giving your signature. You can sign where you can actually sign a piece of paper where you assume all the liability, or I can sign that same piece of paper where the straw man gonna assume all the liability. It's just amazing when I finally got it. I was like, wow, I don't even have to be here. We don't have to be here. We don't have to go through this. But once you're here, now you got to go through a whole lot of mess because you got to realize that you're in a situation now where when dealing with a contract, only the parties to the contract can enter a discussion of the contract. Okay, everything else is an assumption. So what happens is that whoever it is claiming that I owe them some type of allegiance or duty for some type of law or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, another officer, another agent can't come in and order around and say that I'm responsible to them because of whatever I have going on with them. That's not the way contracts, that's not the way that things go. So it's like in the business world, we really don't get it. And they twirl. Once you're here, it's a little more complicated than it would be to defend you, to keep you coming as far as what I'm saying. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
First thing first, stop answering to something to someone that you aren't. Explain to me how that's me. Okay. What charges? Where are they? Okay. Where's the indictment? That's the invoice. Okay, you billing me. All right, now how much is it? Okay, now look, this is what I'm finna do right here. I'm gonna release these funds. Okay, boom. And then you just sign for it. But when you sign for it, what happens is you notice that all the papers always have the straw man name on it. Okay, but when you sign it, you have to sign by BYU for the straw man. Sign by you, your regular way you sign, and then put up under that for, and then write in all capital the same thing. They'll know that you signed it for him. So the straw man assumes the liability, and not you just protecting yourself. You just pass the liability right back to the straw man, same man at the address. Just pass it back.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing about it. When you growing up in the environment that we grew up in, we not looking at no books, understanding law before you go out here and decide to break them.
I understand that.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what these youth need to understand. We giving you some information that most people are not equipped with. So before you jump out there with your FN and your AR, and you want to go knock off your ops just because he maybe diss you in a rap song, they have laws on the books that they're gonna bring you and held you accountable for, and you don't even know you're doing business with a government that's really set you up to come do business with them. They put these traps out there for you to come do business with them.
Right.
You know, that's what it is. It's a trap out here.
Big trap.
Yeah, it's a big trap for you to do business. It's just like the Indians. They just set traps for them to do business with them. It's a story that y'all guys need to look at about this Mayan king named Montezuma. And when the Spanish came over there, they set a trap for him. So basically, when they went to his kingdom, now Montezuma free, he a king, he run his own country. But when the Spanish came over there, they say, hey man, some of your people did something to our people, so you owe us. You see, they tricked him to assume responsibility for something. And when he agreed and said, oh, well, he didn't know such and such, they basically arrested him on his own property.
Yeah, basically because it was implied by his conduct, listen, it was implied by his conduct that he was under some type of agreement or that they had authority over him.
Exactly. They tricked him.
That's why people tell you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say, anything can and will be used against you. So once you say anything, like he did, they used it against him. They arrested him on his own property.
On his own property. Now look, these Spaniards just get off the boat. They don't have no authority over this land. But they came with the same rules and regulations that they would go anywhere else and they know they were.
Because the people don't know the game.
Right.
It's almost like some type of creature from outer space. And it's like this one little thing they got, this one little game, and because of this trick, man, it's like everything gets to go their way, and the only thing to defeat it is education, a good education.
A good education, history, where it's at. You need to watch that story about Cortez and Montezuma. Now, I'm going to give y'all some more game. Now, what they did was they showed that they had more authority over their king. So now the city confused.
You have 1 minute.
Damn, I can't finish this story, but the city was confused, and they end up, they had to go because the people rebellion. They had to go back, but 6 months later he came back and took over the city, and they put down the Spanish rules and laws right then. But yeah, man, the phone gonna hang up, man. We'll chop it back up, man.
Okay, try to run this right quick. Dummy. A party who has no interest in a transaction but participates to help achieve a legal goal. Definition 2. A party who purchases property and holds legal title for another.
That's what we're going. When we come back on next time, we'll start off on the dummy. We'll break that down.
We'll pick up on color law too right here.
All right, bet.